Chevron, give me a cup, please. I get a chance. Cup. Yeah. All praise be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So as always, we go through the Torah portion. Of those of you who's now visiting us for the first time, and the light of Zion, or some of us might be keeping a Sabbath day for the first time. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Right, we have something what we call a Torah portion, right? Which is the Torah. The first 5 books is broken up to every Sabbath until for at least 1 year. Okay, so it starts out right around the time of our tabernacles, and it ends around the time of the tabernacles. So we have to remember that this is part of the Most High's prescription, if you would say. That we come together, we gather together, and keep the Sabbath day. Yeah, fine, I got you. This is our assembly. The Most High called us to do this. So we're going to get started because we got a few chapters ahead of us. We're going to start out with the book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 17. Let's open up the word of Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's get Colossians 3 and 17 first. Why do we go here? Every time we open up the class, I'll explain.
Colossians chapter 3 verse 17.
Okay.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
All right, so as the scripture says, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, any word coming out of your mouth, any deeds that you do, we have to remember to do it all in the name of who? He said, Bahashem Hamashiach Yahushai. That's the Hebrew for in the name. Right? In the name of who? Our Lord and Savior, Yahushai. Right? Giving thanks to the power that's in heaven and the angels. This is what we should be doing at all times as Israelites. Remember, we're not a part of the Baptist church anymore. Okay? We don't have to, we're not doing the things that they do. We're doing the things that the Messiah did. Okay? He said, be ye followers of me. So if you want to follow the Messiah, you got to do what he did. Okay? You can't be in, you got to be in season. You can't be out of season. We're going to get that. Give me Timothy's. 2 Timothy's 4 and 2. We open up with maybe 1 or 2 scriptures. We're going to get right to the portion. It should be 2 Timothy's 4 and 2.
2 right. Timothy chapter 4 verse 2.
Right.
Preach the word.
Do what?
Preach the word.
Do who?
Preach the word.
The Bible says, tell us to preach the word. That's our job as men. Read.
Be instant. In season, out of season.
Right. So it says in season and out of season. So no matter what season it is, we need to preach this word. Right? And we need to be in the right season. Right? You can't be in the winter time celebrating Christmas talking about you in the right season. Even though Christmas lands in the winter time, but what does Christmas have to do with the Messiah? Right? What the Messiah was doing in the winter? He was doing He was doing the feast of dedication. So we being followers of Christ, being followers of the Mashiach, then we need to be keeping the feast of dedication during the winter. What other holidays in the winter? Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving. But are we supposed to be keeping Thanksgiving? Did Christ keep Thanksgiving? No. He said to be thanks and give, but he didn't say keep Thanksgiving, right? So what other holidays in the winter time? New Year's, right? The brother said New Year's. When does that land? Hold on, let me tell you. The first of the year. When? Give me a date.
January 1st.
January 1st. Let's prove them wrong. Give me Exodus 12 and 1. Is it Exodus 12 and 1 or 16 and 1? Give me 16 and 1. Now, according to the history, according to what we've been taught today, right? We've been taught that December 31st, when after 12 midnight, right? It goes into 12:01. That's considered the new year.
12 and 1.
Yes, 12 and 1.
12 and 1? Come, all right. Exodus 12 and 1.
Exodus chapter 12 verse 1.
Okay.
And the Most High spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months.
So now, this is Moses, right? Speaking to Aaron, right? Telling the people, this should be the beginning of months, right? Right?
It shall be the first month of the year to you.
So this shall be the first month of the year to you. Learning you a Hebrew, you have the first month of the year, right? Let's find out if it's December. Read.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel,
Speak ye unto the all congregation of Israel. Read.
saying, in the 10th day of
Right.
this month,
Right.
they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers.
Right. So this is going into this month that we're in now, because this is referring to the Passover. Right? Everybody agree with me? Everybody with me? All right. So hold that. I don't want you to go there. Go. Give me Deuteronomy 16:1. That's what I want. Deuteronomy 16:1. And Samuel, let me get your Bible dictionary. You know what I want. ABIB. You know what I mean? Get Deuteronomy 16 verse 1. So we can find out and we can edify our people to let them know that December 31st, going into January 1st, is not the new year. Okay? Read that, 16:1.
Deuteronomy chapter 16 verse 1.
Read.
Observe the month of Abib.
Do what?
Observe the month of Abib.
Do who?
Observe the month of Abib.
Spell it.
A-B-I-B.
Right, so A-B-I-B. Observe the month of Abib. Right? So let's find out what season this here month comes in. Shamiola, stand up and read that. Bring your camp voice.
The month of Abib.
Right? Just tell them where you at.
Bible dictionary.
So we got to look this word up, the month of Abib. You hear that, brother? A-B-I-B. So it's going to tell you. Look it up in your phone. You can look it up. And if you have a Bible dictionary, you can look that word up and check it out what that word means. A-B-I-B. He's going to read it.
The month of Abib.
Right?
The pre-existent name for the first month of the year.
Right?
After the exile, the name was changed to Nisan.
Okay, read.
It fell about the time of our march in early April.
So the month of Abib fell about the late March and early April. Right? So we're supposed to observe the month of Abib. Right? And in the scripture it says, and keep the Passover. So we're in the month of our Passover. Con? So this is the beginning of the year. The first month of the year according to the Bible. Now who said January 1st was the new year? Now I know you said it, brother, but I'm not saying you didn't originally say that. You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying as far as what the calendar says.
Right, I know.
That's not.
I know. Come on. According to what the calendar says, right? Because that's the Gregorian calendar, right? It's made of the Romans who brought this calendar out. Okay? So in the process of time, of course, we've been waking up in these last days. We come down to realize that we're Hebrews and our new year is not according to Esau's new year, which is Esau is a so-called white man. He came up with this new year. Okay? So we learning today that we're Hebrew and we need to keep the Passover, which is coming up in this month. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Everybody know the date for the Passover this month?
All right.
Come on, somebody give me a date.
30.
March 30th. At what time?
At evening.
At evening, right. It's the Lord's Passover. Okay? So this is what we need to be doing. This is what it means when the scripture says you got to be in season. If you're celebrating the Passover and it's August, then you out of season. Right? You are out of season. That's the truth. So the scripture told us, be in season, be out of season. You know, we have to preach this word. All right, we're gonna go back into the portion, and the portion starts out with Exodus, the 35th chapter and the first verse, and we're gonna read on to Exodus 40 and 38. Is that right? Yeah, come on.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, sorry for my tardiness. Wasn't kind of under the weather, but just pushed myself as a living sacrifice to be here.
Right, so, you know, a lot of us are suffering from a lot of things that's going on. This thing is spreading around, man, so I advise everybody to make sure you bundle up. The weather's changing, people are getting sick, so we gotta make sure we stay prayed up. Come on? So we're gonna start out with Exodus 35:1. The book of Exodus, chapter 35 and verse 1. And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together, and said unto them, These are the words which the Most High have commanded, that ye should do them. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest.
Right, so the Most High, you know, all merciful, all compassionate, all knowledgeable, you know, giving all praise to the Most High by Shemashak Yahushai. True spiritual power is going to be right here in heaven. In heaven, that's going to be right here on earth in these last days. So, Most High did what? He gave us 6 days for ourselves. And in turn, he asked us for what? For 1 day that we set aside, we sanctify, you know, from rest and to give him praise on that day. So that day is set apart from all days of the week. Read that again.
We had Exodus 35 and verse 2. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Most High. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death.
Shall be what?
Put to death.
Right, so in time past that you were what? You were physically put to death. Okay? So right now the Most High being merciful, you know, just like in the garden, Adam and Eve, when the serpent told, he said, you shall surely not be, you know, you shall surely not die. But they didn't die physically, but they did what? They died spiritually. Okay? So a lot of our people that today they make it, well, we're in captivity, so I gotta work on the Sabbath. Most of us not hearing that. Okay? I sent out an article of a so-called Jew that actually worked for Advanced Auto in, I think it was New Jersey somewhere. He won a $10,000 lawsuit because they tried to force him to work on the Sabbath. So how could the so-called white man call himself a Jew, and these other, they take on our true identity and actually get off on the Sabbath and actually get monetary gain off of, okay, standing their ground. Okay, so we can't use that excuse, oh, well, we're in captivity, so I gotta work. When you go for your job interview and they ask you what days you're available to work, you don't say, I'm available 7 days a week, 6 days a week. You let them know, I'm a Hebrew. Okay, I observe the Shabbat day from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Okay, put your trust in the Most High. Okay, you prevail. Read that again.
I got a question for somebody, for anybody. During the time, we just celebrate a holiday. What holiday we just celebrate? Huh? Speak up. Purim, right? So, what captivity we were in? Anybody know? Who was king? Ammon? Right? Didn't we read it was Darius? Right? King of Persia? Right? Didn't he rule during that time? Were we in rulership at that time? La'ah, right. We were in the middle of our captivity. And what happened? Through our fast and our prayer and us coming together as Hebrews and knowing who we are, what happened? The Most High heard our prayer, received our supplication, and got us through that time. Con? So a lot of people like to use that excuse, you know, we in captivity. But just because we were in captivity through a lot of things. But the Most High heard us. How? Because we kept the commandments. Because we gathered together and we stayed together. Con? So to try not to use that, no, don't let anybody hear that come out of your mouth about captivity. Because we're in captivity right now, Con? And I don't work on the Sabbath. You work on the Sabbath? No, you right here. So if that can happen, all things are possible through the Most High by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Con?
Con.
All right. Exodus 35:3. We'll read 2 again. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be to you an holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Most High. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death.
Shall be what? Shall be put to death. Okay, so a lot of our people are detached, okay, from the heritage because they don't take the seriousness of keeping the Shabbat day holy. Okay, some people say, well, I'm going to keep the Sabbath at home. Okay, but the Most High requires that you have what? A holy convocation. What does the word convocation mean? A gathering. Okay, so you're talking about what? A true gathering. Okay, amongst like-minded people that want to keep the law and statute commandments of the Most High, that want to be obedient. Okay, that come back to their heritage, because when it's more than just saying that I'm a Hebrew Israelite. It's a culture, it's a heritage, it's a way of life. It's not a religious kind.
Romans 2:13.
Okay. It's a way of life, it's a custom. Okay, we're not, it's not a religion. Even though presently a lot of Hebrews have made, okay, a religion out of Israel. Okay, I was watching Brother Matatawa last night, and he was talking about when you talk about in Exodus how in time past, if you were a single person and you couldn't eat a whole lamb by yourself, right? So you would share with your neighbor next door. But say now today, this neighbor next door was from another camp. So our brothers now they camp banging like, well, you're not in my camp, so I'm not going to share with you. That's not how Israel ran in the past. Because according to the Bible dictionary, what does the word neighbor mean? A fellow Israelite, fellow Hebrew. But now, if this fellow Hebrew is from another camp, is he going to share that land with you? Probably not, because he's not in your camp. Okay, but right here we teach what? We teach nationhood. Give me that. Hold that. Give me Zephaniah 2 verse 1.
The book of Zephaniah chapter 2 verse 1. Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1.
Come on.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Right, so it said nation not desired. Here it said camp. Okay. And it said congregation, it said nation not desired. So we are to come together as a nation of people. Okay. Right now we may seem divided, this camp here, that camp here, this congregation here. But in due time, the Most High is going to bring together like-minded Israelites that want to be in the same body of Mashiach Yahushua and Exodus out of this great Egypt. Okay, because America is known as that spiritual Egypt according to the Bible. It's also known as spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, spiritual Babylon. Why? Why do we say that? Because America takes on all the customs of these ancient kingdoms. Come on. Well, go back.
Okay.
Right, finish reading this Zephaniah. Right, America's got everybody fooled. You don't think that America's going on the Battlestar Galactica? Okay, Star Wars, because they make the movies. Okay, read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11.
Come on.
Psalms 49 and verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
Right, their inward thought, okay, within their heart, within their mind, that what?
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
Right, that their house, they're going to continue to pass from generation to generation to their children. Okay, that we're going to continue to be the last side, the first fight, and the bottom of the totem pole. That the so-called black men continue to be locked up in the prison houses. Okay, on flakka, on alcohol. But the Most High is about to do a miraculous work in these last days. Okay, we are the valley of dry bones that he's about to wake up in these last days. Okay, come on.
Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations.
And their dwelling place to all generations, meaning what? When they die, what do? They pass on their inheritance to their children, to their children's children. You see? Because you might have some Caucasian or people from the nation, they say, well, that wasn't me, that was my ancestors that had your people in slavery. But guess what happened? They are reaping the benefits from their forefathers. Okay? They are reaping the benefits of their ancestors. The Christopher Columbus, the George Washington, okay, the Bushes, the DuPont, the Gettys, all these children. Look at over there in England. They say the Queen of England, okay, is what? What's her wealth? She owns how much?
Oh, she owns the most real estate in the world.
The most real estate in the whole
entire earth.
Okay.
She's #1.
And where did she get this from? From the slavery of our people. Okay. So the only thing left for us to do is to do what? Is to come back to the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. Okay? Because he's our buckler, he's our shield, he's our protection, and he's the one that's going to fight for us in these last days. We can't fight the powers that be. But what country has artillery and you got Jakes in the corner, I got a Glock, I got a 9. What are you going to do? They don't have to come out. All they do, don't you know, these projects from an aerial view, it makes a pinpoint, they just drop a bomb. They don't have to come out here physically. All they have to do is launch a bomb, drop a bomb. Look what they did in Black Wall Street.
Right.
And I just saw an article. What they plan to do, that whole thing in that high school with the shooting, they said police may get power to take guns. Okay, so they're using that shooting in the school to take the rights away, that they're going to be able to just confiscate your gun. Okay, there's so many things that's going on in this society right now. What is this? This is a magazine I picked up. It says, "The Golden Age of Free Speech." Right now, you can go out there and say things in public and get away with it, but there's going to come a time where you go out there and say something, you're going to get locked up. So, if you notice, if you look at how the art, how they made it, it's like what? It's deteriorating. Okay, it's fading away. Okay, it's fading away. So, and that's a good thing. That's a sign showing you that what? That we are ultimately in the last days. Hallelujah. Okay, we're ultimately in the last day. Our forefathers, our ancestors spoke of this great day, but we can actually say we are living in that time period of our redemption. Our redemption is near. Okay, and by them throwing out that movie Black Panther shows us that we're near. Because what do? Every time they see our people getting close, they try to throw a monkey wrench. Now people are saying Wakanda forever. Okay, we are not Wakanda. We are the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And they're saying that what? That this is a hero arises. Our true hero is a Mashiach Yahushua.
That's right.
See, I watched there's a movie called Black Panther about the movement Black Panther, and who saw that movie, the Black Panther, about the Black Panther movement? There was a scene in that movie when the CIA met with them with the Italians, right? And what did they say? They said, if the blacks have any leader, we're going to give them that leader. So when you see a black leader arise in the community, in society, they were set up by the CIA and the FBI. And they just I just saw an article, saw someone on the internet. They were saying that the Geek Squad from Best Buy, they were saying that they've been working for the FBI. You bring your computer in, all kind of stuff there. Next thing you know, they're in your computer. Anybody saw that? It was on Yahoo. Okay, so we're in an age where they even saw they have those movies where you're watching your TV and they got something in your TV. They could be watching you. You get these smart TVs, these sophisticated TVs, and all you're being surveillance while you're in your house.
Brought that out in that movie, Enemy of the State.
Right.
Will Smith. Yeah.
You think that they're really making all these movies for your entertainment, for you to be amused? They're showing you what they're doing to you in this society. But guess what? Any evil purpose that any nation put against Israel, what did the Most High do? He turned it upon their own head. So their only evil devices that they have proposed against us is going to be their downfall. But all we have to do is prepare ourselves to come back to the law, and commandments of the Most High. Okay? For our redemption is truly near. Let's go back to Exodus.
Understand? 49.
Yeah, finish that.
Psalms 49 and 11. The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
They call their land after their own names. Where did the word America come from? America Vespucci is a European sailor. Okay? The so-called black man called himself what? African American. The term New York came from where? From the Duke of York. So I don't care what nobody says. There's no other book on earth that can stand the test of time as the Bible. Best instruction before leaving earth. Okay? As we read this Bible, we see the things that have come to pass in society and continually come to pass, okay, day by day. Okay, we're reading about prophetic, we're reading about historical things that occurred in this Bible that came forth in this society, in this kingdom. Let's go back to Exodus.
The book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 3. Exodus 35 and verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
Right, so what is this talking about? Ye shall kindle no fire. Huh?
No cooking.
No cooking. Some people say, well, what about if I microwave? Okay, a microwave is a modern way of cooking. But some people, it's an everyday thing. So read that again.
The book of Exodus, chapter 35, verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
So it says throughout your habitations, wherever you are. So what should we be doing on the day? What is the day of preparation according to our culture? Huh? Thursday, so-called Thursday, right? So we should be preparing. The Shabbat day should not be a surprise to you because it comes every week. So you should know that every week that you have a preparation and you get ready for the Sabbath. It shouldn't catch you by surprise. Oh wow, the Sabbath is tomorrow. You should already know that it's coming, so get your stuff prepared. That you're not scrambling, that you know you have to have something to eat. Okay? You know that you may be traveling a far distance. You know that your car needs gas. So get these things prior. Okay? So you're not caught off guard. Read on.
Verse 4. And Moses spake unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Most High commanded, saying, Take ye from among you an offering unto the Most High. Whosoever is of a willing heart.
Of a what?
Of a willing heart.
Right, so that's the key. You got to be of a willing heart. Someone should have to like pull your arm. Okay? Put a gun to your head.
Don't you know it's a Sabbath thing? Get in there.
Right, we're in a good place right now where what? That the Most High is giving you an opportunity to willfully serve Him. Okay? Because what's going to happen? Give me Ezekiel. Ezekiel, Ezekiel 20:32.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 32. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 32.
Come on.
And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, We will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone.
Right, so what's another word for the heathen? Nation, another word. Stranger, another word.
White man.
Gentile. A lot of people use the word Gentile. So our people want to be like the Gentiles, the other nations. Right? We want to get the bleach our skin. We want to get the contact lenses. Okay, we want to do everything, assimilate ourselves to everything that we see they do.
They're blowing our hair.
Right. The whole transgender movement, homosexuality. See, Heather has 2 mommies. Okay. So a lot of our people right now are homeschooling their children because this is what they're teaching in this education system. These are actual children's books that they're having our children read, okay, to get them used to seeing this type of behavior. Because right now, this is considered normal. Okay? A man and woman is considered right now abnormal. This is how far gone that we have come as a people away from the Most High. That we see this as being a normal family setting. Read that again.
We had Ezekiel 20 and verse 32. And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, We will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone.
Right, there's all type of idolatry. The crosses, okay, the Caesar Borgias. Come on.
As I live, saith the Most High thy power, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you.
Right, so the Most High said that, what? By force. When we go through the wilderness, that there's going to be some niggas that still want to do their own thing. But the Most High is going to execute fierce judgment in that time. Read.
Verse 34. And I will bring you out from the people.
Right, so he says he's going to bring from what people? Someone posed me a question the other day, and it's like, it's a continual question. They want to know, can the white man be saved? Why is it that our people are so concerned about the white man and other nations, and we have no concern about our own people? I want to know about my people first. Okay? When Mandela spoke at the UN building, okay, years ago, he said what? I'm not here for the affairs of the black Americans here in America. He said, I'm here for the affairs of my people in Africa. So he put a distinction. And when they ask you, when they tell you about there's no difference between Jew or Greek or Jew or Gentile, they're not worried about the Chinese or the Japanese or the other. They're worried about the white man, the El Blanco. Okay? They could care less about the Chinese or the Japanese. They want to know about the white man. That's that Stockholm syndrome. We got to get past that. Read on.
Verse 34. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered.
Kadash, see what this brother wants.
With a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness.
So now he said he's going to bring us out from among the people. What people is he talking about? The other nation. So what's? I'm trying to understand. These people have this thought in their mind about this rainbow coalition. Okay, trying to paint a picture with all these different. But the Most High says he's going to do what? He's going to bring us from amongst all these people. Because while we are among these people, we are being what? Contaminated. We are being contaminated around these other nations. So the Most High said, in order for us to be a righteous kingdom, a righteous nation, he has to do what? He has to pull us away. So he wants to pull us away, but you got some of our people who want to bring the nations with us. They're going to be joined to us, yeah. But how? In captivity. Thus saith the Most High. You might say, well, I don't want no slave. I'll take yours on.
That's right.
I can always use an extra slave.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's right.
You can always use an extra slave. Nothing wrong with that. We'll have house wiggers too. Okay, they can have some in the house, some out in the yard. Okay. Read on.
Ezekiel 20:35. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt.
So how did the Most High deal with us in ancient Egypt? How did the Most High deal with us in the ancient Egypt? Come on.
Communicating with us through a charity.
What did he say?
It was breaking up.
Oh, you didn't hear?
No.
So a lot of people died in the wilderness.
Right.
2/3 of our people are not going to make it. Okay. There are billions and billions of Israelites, but 2/3 of our people are not going to make it. Why? Because it is stiff-necked, hard-headed, and rebellious. You going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, when he said, likewise, as he pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness, meaning that he didn't have a conversation with us, a nice conversation. A lot of us were being put to death because of that, because when we started to worship that calf. You know, we lost patience. That's the key right there, patience. You know, the scriptures tell us, patience you shall repossess ye your soul. So we lost patience. That's what's happening right now with us. That's why a lot of us won't really commit onto really knowing who you are, Hebrew. When the word comes to you, a lot of our people, they stray away because they're not ready to commit to the Most High.
Well, read on 37 and 38.
Right. Verse 37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
Right, so passing the rod, what is the rod used for?
Correction.
Huh?
Correction.
Correction. Okay, we're going to be reproved. We're going to be corrected in that day. We're not going to have no choice. You're not going to be able to vote. Okay.
Sign a petition.
Sign a petition. No. It's either you get down or you lay down.
That's right.
Okay, it's either the Most High's way or or death. I'm not even saying highway. You're gonna die. Okay, you're not gonna be able to get away. You're gonna be put to death. Come on.
38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
You're gonna do what?
And I will purge out from among you the rebels.
Right, he said, I'm gonna purge out from among you the rebels. Those of our people that still want to rebel against the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. The Most High is going to be all in all. You're not going to be worshiping no other God in that day. There's not going to be no freedom of speech. Okay, you're not going to have your own opinion, your own thoughts. Okay? I have a dream. None of that stuff is going to matter that day. Come on.
And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh, your power.
Right, so just like in old times when Moses, on everything that he did, he got to a point where he couldn't even go. He said, Moses, he showed him that land and said, you're not going to go enter into it. A lot of our people are going to go through all that, get to the wilderness, and still don't make it to the promised land. Okay? So we don't want to end them like that. We want the Most High to have mercy and compassion upon us that we are able to make it to that day. That's what we're striving for. That's why we're here. You could have been out shopping, going to the mall, going to a baseball game, whatever, but you're here because you love the Most High. You want to be obedient to law, statute, commandments, okay, of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So you present your body as what? As a living sacrifice. Okay, let's go back to Exodus.
Exodus 35 and verse 5. Exodus 35 and verse 5. Take ye from among you an offering unto the Most High. Whosoever is of a willing heart, let him bring it, an offer of the Most High, gold and silver and brass. Verse 6. And blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram's skin dyed red and badger's skins, shittim wood and oil for the light.
So we had all these natural resources before abundantly. We didn't have no 10 karat, 14 karat. We had real gold. We had all these things, but what happened? What happened, brother? Why did we lose all these things? Right. Right, so quite naturally, if we fell away because we sinned, what's going to be the thing that's going to bring us back to the Most High?
Returning back to the law.
By returning back to the law and rehearsing these righteous acts. The nations know that. That's why they continually do things, even the basic clothes that we wear, right? They purposely make clothing with mixed material. They make toothpaste and put pork in it because they know that's something you use every day. Well, some of them, they know there's things that we use on an everyday basis. Soaps. Okay? Things that you wouldn't even think, what's the purpose of putting pork in it? They managed to put pork in it. Right. And then they put some type of scientific name so you won't know it's talking about pork.
Cornbread. For years we was eating that Jiffy cornbread. And then in the blue box. We bought that all the time. Especially when we was in the world with Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? They didn't realize, look on the back, it says lard on it. Even in cheese, and even in certain drinks, they've got pork in it. So, you know, he's designed to keep us down. You know? They capitalize on all of us. You notice that the women's clothes now got fringes on it. I don't know if anybody's paying attention. I went into Walmart, they had a towel there, and they had fringes on the towel. And these are the fringes that we wear on our garments. The only thing that was missing was the red, and blue. So they know that we buying these clothes. They know that we buying up these fringes. The sale of fringes is going up. And they see that. So they say, oh yeah, we got to start selling this. these people are buying it. So they're capitalizing on us. Verse 8. And oil for the light, and spices for anointing oil, and for the sweet incense. And
so it says the oil for the light. Normally we would have the menorah lit. Okay, but the oil for the light is talking about what? For the menorah. Okay, this is we would light the menorah on the Shabbat day. Okay, so that's the light. The oil for the light is talking about for the menorah. Okay, come on.
Verse 9. And onyx stones, and stones to be set for the ephod and for the breastplate.
Right, so what was the ephod and breastplate used for? And everybody answer at once.
Protection. Priest. It was for Aaron to wear for the 12 tribes as a sign of unity.
Right. So it says an ephod is a priestly vestment. It's a you get directly. The priest would wear it, and you had a direct connection to the Most High. You would get instruction. Okay. So all these things, we have replicas of the ephod, but we are coming back to that when the Most High is reestablishing the priests in these last days. But they brought forth all the precious stones and all this thing. We made these things with. Okay, now we don't have all these things. We have like these costume jewelry. But back then we had the authentic rare stones that we use that today would be costly, thousands and thousands of dollars to buy these things. Okay, but the Most High gave it to us freely at one time. Come on.
Verse 10. And every wise-hearted among you shall come and make all that the Most High hath commanded, the tabernacle, his tent, and his covering, his tachs, and his boards, and his bars, and his pillars, and his sockets, the ark, and the staffs thereof, with the mercy seat.
So what was the purpose of constructing the tabernacle? What was the purpose of constructing the tabernacle?
For the spirit of the Most High to dwell with them.
Right, but it was a what? It was a mobile, right? It was a mobile home that the Most High come and deal with us with, that we used while we was in the wilderness. Because at that time we were what? We were on the move. Okay? So it's like a mobile worshiping place. Okay, but now it's going to go into and give you it's going to give you the construction and what was put inside and what was made, what was it made up of. Okay, read that again.
Verse 12. The ark and the staffs thereof, with the mercy seat and the veil of the covering, the table and his staffs and all his vessels, and showbread, and the candlestick, also for the light, and his furniture, and his lamps, with the oil for the light, and the incense altar, and his staffs, and the anointed oil, and his sweet incense, and the hanging for the door at the entering of the tabernacle. Entering in of the tabernacle. Verse 16. The altar of burnt offering with his brassen gate. His staffs and all his vessels, the laver and his foot, the hangings of the court, his pillars and his sockets, and his hanging for the door of the court, the pins of the tabernacle, and the pins of the court, and their cords.
Well, I don't know if everyone can see it, but it gives you some illustration of how the tabernacle looked. Okay, so this is what we used in when we were in the wilderness, the tabernacle, and it's going to go in the description. Okay, with the mercy seat, the ark, everything that was placed inside of it. Actually, I'm gonna get like a makeshift one, have it The brother in New York had one that he had built. So you probably get one here, and you know that you can get yourself familiar with all the different parts of the tabernacle. Okay, read that again.
Verse 18: the pins of the tabernacle and the pins of the court and their cords, the clothes of service to do service, the cloths of service to do service in the holy place, the holy garments of Aharon, the priest, and the garments of his sons to minister in the priest's office.
Well, when you read this, then you're gonna there's so many different facets and attributes of this tabernacle, and everything was very defined. Everything was laid out, like the cloths. Everything had a purpose. Okay, the Most High is very specific in how He wanted everything constructed in His tabernacle. Even up into even mentioned about the cloth. Read that again. The cloths of service.
Verse 19, the cloths of service.
Why, you couldn't just come with a handy wipe or something like that. It had to be a particular cloth that they used. So everything was very definite, okay? Pinpoint. The Most High is very precise with everything that He does. Read.
The cloths of service to do service in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron, the priest, and the garments of his sons to minister in the priest's office. Verse 20.
So Aaron and his sons, they had priestly garments. Okay, great.
And all the congregation of the children of Israel departed from the presence of Moses. They came, every one whose heart was stirred him up, and every one whom his spirit made willing. And they brought the Most High's offering to the work of the tabernacle of the congregation, and for all his service, and for the holy garments.
Right, so everyone that was willing, they did what? They bought the things needed to put this tabernacle, to put everything together. They bought the offerings. Okay? And it said that what they were willing in their heart. They weren't like, you know, somebody that had to force them to bring it in, or, you know, they felt under pressure. They willingly, with a free heart, a free mind, to bring these offerings in. Come on.
Verse 22. And they came, both men and women, as many as were willing-hearted, and brought bracelets and earrings and rings and tablets and jewels of gold, and every man that offered an offering of gold unto the Most High.
Right, so a lot of times what they did when they bought these things, it was melted down. Okay, it was made something else out of it. Okay, because when you in time past, you know, when we had cups, plates, all this stuff was made out of pure gold. You didn't have paper plates back then. Okay, you didn't have hefty, okay, reusable paper plates. Okay, come on.
Verse 23. And every man with whom was found blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and red skins of rams, badgers' skins, brought them. Every one that did offer an offering of silver and brass brought the Most High's offering, and every man with whom was found shittim wood for any work of the service brought it.
Right, so that shittim wood, that's you know, a class, a very high class of wood that they used back then. Okay, come on.
Verse 25. And all the women that were wise-hearted did spin with their hands, and brought that which they had spun, both of blue and of purple and of scarlet and of fine linen.
Right, so the women of old, they did what? They sewed. Okay, we said they were wise-hearted. They sewed with their hands. But now we're you know, we out there when we want to get clothes. We go to Walmart, we go to Macy's, JCPenney. Okay, when the time passed, our women they sewed. They made everything for us. Read on.
And all the women whose heart stirred them up in wisdom spun goat's hair, and the rulers brought onyx stones and stones to be set for the ephod and for the breastplate, and spice and oil for the light, and for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense.
So do you notice how everything is being, point to point, everything is being set aside that has to be put to this tabernacle. There's nothing that's going to be left out. Okay, it's talking about the oil, about the incense, about the stones. Okay, the Most High is being very precise on everything. So, you know, you don't have to leave your mind open to guess or assume. The Most High is telling you exactly what he wants done in the tabernacle. Come on.
Verse 29. The children of Israel brought a willing offering unto the Most High, every man and woman, whose heart made them willing to bring for all manner of work, which the Most High had commanded to be made by the hand of Moses. And Moses said unto the children of Israel, see, the Most High have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, the tribe of Judah. And he have filled him with the spirit of the Most High, in wisdom, in understanding.
How do you say Judah in the Lashon Kodash? Yahweh meaning what? The Most High's praise, right? Yahweh thinks. Right. Yahweh thinks, Yahweh da. Okay, so all the tribes have a meaning. Okay, all the tribes have a meaning, you know, to that name. Okay, so Yahweh da, Yahweh thinks. Read that again.
Verse 30. And Moses said unto the children of Israel, see, the Most High have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Yahweh, and he hath filled him with the spirit of the Most High, in wisdom, in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship, and to devise curious works, to work in gold, and in silver, and in brass.
Right, so how men, the Most High had a spirit on them to be craftsmen, to make certain things, and the spirit of the Most High was upon them. Okay, so a lot of our people that in these days, they have these certain talents, that where do they get it from? The spirit of the Most High. Okay, from the womb we were born with certain talents. Like here I always tell everybody has a talent, but the thing is for you to go within yourself to see what is the talent the Most High has bestowed upon you. Right? We all have something to offer in the body of a Mashiach Yahushua. But you have to acknowledge what is that gift that the Most High has given you. Okay? Everybody has a gift. Come on.
Verse 33. And in the cutting of the stones to set them, and carving of wood to make any manner of cutting work.
Come on.
And he hath put in his heart that he may teach both he and Elohim, Elohihab, the son of Ahismahamach, of the tribe of Dan. Them have he filled with wisdom of heart, to work all manner of work, of the engraver, and of the cunning workman, and of the embroiderer, in blue, and in purple, and scarlet, and in fine linen, of the weaver, even of them that do any work, and of those that devise cutting work.
Right. So if you look at the flag that we have here, okay, these are the royal colors that the Most High has designed for the tabernacle. Okay, we have the purple, the scarlet, and the blue. Okay, so this is the flag that we put together for the Mashara Yashara. The Mashara meaning government, the government of Israel. Okay, and if you look closely, you have all the fine stones. So each tribe has a stone that pertains to that tribe. Okay, in the middle we have the menorah. Okay, so we just didn't randomly just pick these colors. These are the colors that the Most High has deemed for the tabernacle. Okay, these are special colors that the Most High put aside for this purpose. Okay, come on.
verse 36, chapter 36, right? Verse 1. Then wroth Bezalel and Aholiab and every wise heart man, in whom the Most High put wisdom and understanding to know how to work all manner of work for the service of the sanctuary, according to all that the Most High had commanded. And Moses called Bezalel and Aholiab and every wise heart man, in whose heart the Most High had put wisdom, every one whose heart stirred him up to come onto the work to do it. And they received of Moses all the offering which the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of the sanctuary, to make it withal. And they brought yet unto him free offerings every morning.
Right, they brought free offerings when? Every morning. Okay, not just on the Shabbat day, but they brought every morning. Okay, you might see somebody that they were here, and then, you know, you might see them 2 months, 3 months later, a month later, whatever. But what you should do, if you're missing, then you put aside that portion when you're not here. Because those people all have to continually be in. People call me up, oh brother, you still having service today? Like, if you're going for a year, okay, if we depended on you to make sure this place is open, we'd be out.
That's always the question.
You still got service? Like,
yeah, you're still doing the Sabbath thing?
Yeah, you know, and you know why? You know why they say that? Because they feel embarrassed. Okay? Because we know that. Listen, we are not funded by the government. We're not 501c3. Okay, so we are here by the offering. This is how we keep the doors open. But a lot of people, they go, some people think whether the grass is green on the other side, or they're chasing a dream, or, you know, some other thing they're chasing. But in reality, what happened, who this brother was? What happened with Jonah? The Most High commanded Jonah to go to preach in Nineveh. What happened? What happened? He tried to run away, right? Yep. And what happened?
Well,
he ended up going through all this tribulation, right? And go back to square one and do what the Most High commanded him at first. So a lot of times we give ourselves all this unnecessary, you know, trial and tribulation, things that we have to go through, when all we got to do is be obedient the first time the Most High tells us to do something. You know what I mean, man? I just, you know, this week went back to the, you know, prison, visited some brothers, and, you know, the stories I hear. You know, Esau says that these jails are supposed to be for rehabilitation, but a lot of these cats go in there, they're more wicked than when they first come out. Or you have a brother go in there for maybe a traffic violation or something like that, end up catching a murder charge. You can easily end up doing 6 months to end up doing life, going to prison. Just easy like that.
And you know, some of these guys go in there, they wind up hooking up with someone that does the same crime that they did. You know what I mean? And now when they get out, they become partners in crime. They wind up getting caught, and they go back and do another 20 years. It's happening all the time, man. Well, every time those guys leave there, them CEOs be telling them, I see you, you'll be back. That's what they told my brother. My brother got locked up. He said, yo, you be back. My brother told him only in the rubber bag. So I'm coming back. And he hasn't been back since. So a lot of times our people, man, we can get caught up in the system. And it's very hard to break that. It's very hard.
You know, it's so bad. I mean, brothers tell me that you got like the Bloods, certain gangs actually have guns inside jail. How this is happening, I don't know.
Okay. You got cell phones too now.
Cell phone, but you have a gun in jail.
Yeah.
Okay. So they might as well be out there in the street. You're gonna be in jail. You got cell phones. Okay, you got gun. You got drugs. Okay, and there's been many stories. There's been many stories that you find CEOs having intimate relationship with the people in jail. You're gonna give up all your benefits and all your to mess with somebody that's locked up in jail. But there was one person, I think they were like there for 20 years.
Yeah, it's a guy. He got like 4 CO, like 3 or 4 of them pregnant.
Yeah, you doing like 20 years. You know what kind of benefits you would have had once you get out of there, but you lost it all. Okay, but this is the stupidity of our people. Come on.
Exodus 36:4. And all the wise men that wrought all the work of the sanctuary came every man from his work which they made. And they spake unto Moses, saying, the people bring much more than enough for the service of the work which the Most High commanded to make.
Right, so Moses said, listen, they bring in more than they expected. Okay, that's what we need to get it where what? That is bought in abundance. Okay? And we have to get to a lot of our people, we were like that when we were in the churches, but for somehow we get to Israel, we figure like we shut down. Nothing's needed anymore. Okay? Some of you were one of the reasons why Creflo Dollar has a new check. But you're here today. You know, we still have to bring forth and keep the sanctuary in function. Come on.
Verse 6. And Moses gave commandment that they cause it to be proclaimed throughout the camp, saying, let neither man nor woman make any more work for the offering of the sanctuary. So the people were restrained from bringing.
So I want to get to that point where I say, stop, it's too much. Moses had to make a commandment that, listen, don't bring no more stuff. Okay? So that means like it had to be an overwhelming abundance of people bringing stuff in. So that's the point where we want to get like stuff. Like we got to have bayat at the front gate saying, no more stuff. This is the point where we got to get it. Come on.
Verse 7. For the stuff they had was sufficient for all the work to make it, and too much. And every wise-hearted man among them that wrought the work of the tabernacle made the curtains of fine twined linen.
Read again.
And every wise-hearted man among them that wrought the work of the tabernacle made 10 curtains of fine twined linen, and of blue and purple and scarlet, with cherubims of cutting work made he them.
Right, so this is what? It was made of fine linen. Okay, fine twin linen, and what? Again, it had the colors listed. Okay, so the Most High is being very specific. The material, the color. Okay, so it doesn't leave it in your imagination that you're gonna make your own design. Okay, put your own color. So he listed it here for you. Okay, come on.
The length of one curtain was 28 cubits, and the breadth of one curtain 4 cubits. The curtains were all of one size.
Right, so he even gave you what? The measurement. He gave you the color, he gave you the material, and he gave you the measurement. Come on.
And he coupled the 5 curtains one onto another, and the other 5 curtains he coupled one onto another. And he made loops of blue on the edge of one curtain from the selvage in the coupling. Likewise he made in the uttermost side of another curtain in the coupling of the second. Verse 12. 50 loops made he in one curtain, and 50 loops made he in the edge of the curtain, which was in the coupling of the second. The loops held one curtain to another. And he made 50 taches of gold, and coupled the curtains one to another one unto another with the tackies, so it became one tabernacle.
Right, so you got to understand how beautiful this thing must have looked. With the gold, with the fine linen. Okay, there's something beautiful. Like when you go like to, you know, some of these, you know, like the Queen of England or some of these palaces. Okay, this is, you know, they put their best. They didn't bring any cheap stuff. Okay, so very fine linen. Okay, you had the gold, you had the silver, all these things that were put in the tabernacle. Come on.
Verse 14. And he made curtains of goat's hair for the tent over the tabernacle. 11 curtains he made them. Then the length of one curtain was 30 cubits.
So how long is what's the measure of 1 cubit? Huh? Two feet? So everybody's guessing.
It's about 18 inches. I think it's a full 2 feet. We'll look it up. You can look it up. Shamyala, you got the Bible dictionary? The cubics? All right, let me read on.
Read that again.
Verse 15. The length of one curtain was 30 cubits, and 4 cubits was the breadth of one curtain. The 11 curtains were of one size. And he coupled 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves. And he made 50 loops upon the uttermost edge of the curtain in the coupling, and the 50 loops made he upon the edge of the curtain which coupleth the second. And he made 50 taches of brass to couple the tent together, that it might be one. And he made a covering for the tent of ram's skin dyed red, and a covering of badger's skin above that. And he made boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. The length of the board was 10 cubits, and the breadth of the board 1 cubit and a half. Verse 22. One board and 2 tenons equally distant one from another. Thus did he make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And he made boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards for the south side, southward, and 40 sockets of silver he made under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under the one board for his 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under the other board for his 2 tenons. And for the other side of the tabernacle, which is toward the north corner, he made 20 boards.
So now, the tabernacle appeared where? It was in the middle of the camp. So you had the north, south, east, and west. Okay, and then the tribes were broken up in different directions. So depending on which direction you were, that was you would see that part of the tabernacle. Okay, so the Most High had everything mapped out where everything should appear in this tabernacle. Okay, come on.
Everybody know these skins that they putting on top of the tabernacle? Why they there? Huh? From what? Right, from the water, from the weather. The Most High figured all this thing out, man. Right, the ram skin, this thing is very thick, like leather. You know what I'm saying? So that way when the water comes down, it will just roll right off the tabernacle. And when we read over, like, when they said about, I just read over this while we were reading, it said the cherubims of the cutting work were made in them. The cherubims, what's that? What's the cherubims?
The angels.
The angels, right? These were embroidered into the tabernacle. So they had embroidery, remember, because we read that the men learned that. The Most High gave them wisdom to learn how to embroider certain things. So they would do the way the angel will look. If you see the cherubims, if you ever see, I know we used to have one here. We used to sit on the Ark of the Covenant, right? And they had them on the side of the tabernacle, embroidered in there. You know what I mean? We got to really get a good picture in your mind of what this really looks like. This is very detailed. You know what I mean? So this is not, they didn't go to a class or somebody and sit down with them and teach them how to sew. The Most High gave them this wisdom. Con? So sometimes a lot of our people, we have what they call a natural. You know what I mean? People say, well, you know, I'm a natural. I just jump behind the wheel of a car, I'm driving. You know, the Most High gave you that spirit, you know, to drive or to do certain things in this world. All wisdom comes from the Father. Come? So we can't take none of the credit. Right, so they went into badger skins, they went into the goat hairs and everything, the goat skins. Even though, and you know what the weather, does it turn cold? Don't we have a winter? Right, so all those things will definitely keep things inside warm. Right? Alright, so we have verse 25. Come? Alright. And for the other side of the tabernacle, which is toward the north corner, he made 20 boards. And there 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the sides of the tabernacle westward, he made 6 boards, and 2 boards made he for the corners of the tabernacle.
All right, so this is
right, there's cherubim.
Right. You know, that went inside the tabernacle. Okay, so just to put they say a picture has 1,000 words. So just to put a picture, if we haven't seen it already.
Right. So these cherubims, they were like that. They were embroidered into the material. You know, which is, if you can imagine, it's very nice. You know, they probably had it, you know, in gold and it looked very nice. So you know, our people were talented. Israel got talent. Come. We got to remember that. You see our people. We on America's Next Model. All these different reality shows, and a lot of us have talent, but what our talent is using on the left-hand side, dealing with Satan. We're not really using it in a righteous way. So we gotta come back to that. All right.
So I don't know if you, there was Emmanuel put it up of a letter that Wycliffe you know, said to Kodak, but I went to see him last week, and the same thing he's saying the same thing he said from Tribe Levi. But I told Kodak, I said, you're in a position, you have a platform that you can reach people that we can't reach on an everyday basis. You know, so he has the resources, he has the ability to reach people, but he's you know, fine with us. Say, yo, you're not tired of coming to jail, you know. So we have to, you know, a lot of times a person might be in a position, but if you're not using what the Most High gave you for his purpose, either he's going to take it away from you, or the money he's making right now, he's paying it back in lawyer fees, court fees. So you're not actually, you know, they might put up he's worth this much, but then you got to subtract all these legal fees he's paying. Okay, so we got to understand that the Most High has given us certain things, and if we're not able to manage it the right way, it'll be stripped away from you. So we got to be mindful of that. Okay, come on.
Verse 29. And they were coupled beneath and coupled together at the head thereof. To one ring thus he did to both of them, in both the corners. Verse 30. And they were 8 boards, and their sockets were 16 sockets of silver, under every board 2 sockets. And he made bars of shittim wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the tabernacle for the sides westward. Verse 33. Exodus 36 and 33. And he made the middle bar to shoot through the boards from the one end to the other. And he overlaid the boards with gold, and made their rings of gold to be places for the bars, and overlaid the bars with gold. And he made a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen.
So there goes the same colors again that we have on the flag. Okay.
With the cherubims made he of the cutting work. Right. We just talked about that. The cherubims, right? Sorry. And he made thereunto 4 pillars of shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold. Their hooks were of gold, and he cast for them 4 sockets of silver. And he made a hanging of the tabernacle door of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of needlework. and the 5 pillars of it with their hooks. And he overlaid their chaplets and their fillets with gold, but their 5 sockets were of brass.
So now, some were made of brass, some were made of gold. So everything the Most High, you know, and again, he's very specific with how this whole thing is being put together. Okay, so we are looking at the Most High. He's an architect. He's a designer. Okay, he's the architect, right? Who can design? Who can more than the Most High? I know if you try, like when I would drive upstate New York, you see all the greenery. You see like in the autumn, you see different colors. You know, it's a beautiful sight to see. Like when you go to the beach, you see the horizon. You see how the water. The Most High created all of this. I mean, we take a lot of things for granted because we see it every day. But the Most High created it. Can we say we created something like that? Okay, so the Most High, he did all these things. Come on.
Chapter 37, verse 1. And Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood 2 cubits, and a half.
Did we get cubit yet?
It's 1 feet.
Shamiela?
Foot and a half, okay.
Okay, foot and a half? Okay. All right.
So now you can, by you having that now, you can do the math and have some type of mental picture in your mind how this thing is going to look. Come on.
All right. Chapter 37. And Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood 2 cubits, and a half was the length of it, and a cubit and a half the breadth of it, and a cubit and a half the height of it. And he overlaid it with pure gold.
Right, it said pure gold, not 14, not 18. Okay, it said pure gold. Come on.
Within and without, and made a crown of gold to it round about. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold, to be set by the 4 corners of it, even 2 rings upon the one side of it, and 2 rings upon the other side of it. And he made staffs of the shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold.
Right, so we have staves. It's not overlaid with gold. We have tape on it. But they have staves overlaid with what? With pure gold. Okay. But we try to, we try to fashion things or assimilate to the scripture. But one day the Most High will give us the pure things, as the days of old. Come on.
Right. So we even had the gold. We had the brass too. The brass is very important too. Right. Part of this. The brass is like steel. So they put it in certain parts of the, of the tabernacle. They hold it up to make sure that it's sturdy. All right. Verse 4. I'll read verse 4 again. And he made staffs of the shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold. And he put the staffs into the rings by the sides of the ark to bear the ark. And he made the mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits and a half was the length thereof, and 1 cubit and a half the breadth thereof. And he made 2 cherubims of gold, beaten out of 1 piece. Made he them read that again. And he made 2 cherubims of gold, beaten out of 1 piece. Made he them on the 2 ends of the mercy seat. 1 cherubim on the end on this side, and the other cherubim on the other end on that side. Out of the mercy seat made he the cherubims on the 2 ends thereof. And the cherubim spread out their wings on high, and covered with their wings over the mercy seat, with their faces one to another, even to the mercy seatward were the faces of the cherubims.
Right, so the Spirit of Most High would descend upon where? Upon the mercy seat.
Right, you just had the picture up there.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so the Most High wants a place, where he gonna come and descend and he will deal with us, but he had this thing being fashioned and designed, very specific, all the measurements, what he wanted made out of, okay, to his liking. All right, come on.
And he made the table of the shittim wood. He made a table of shittim wood, 2 cubits was the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And he overlaid it with pure gold, and made thereunto a crown of gold round about. Also he made thereunto a border of an handbreadth round about. And he made a crown of gold for the border thereof round about. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings upon the 4 corners that were in the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border were the rings, the places for the staves to bear the table. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold to bear the table. And he made the vessels which were upon the table, his dishes, and his spoons, and his bowls, and his covers, to cover withal of pure gold. Can you imagine that, man? The Most High is going through it right now, man. You know what I mean? He's showing his marvelous, marvelous works right now. He's telling Israel, listen, y'all need to get it together. We're going to put this tabernacle together. We're going to put the mercy seat together. We're going to have the cherubims on each side. You got people that do the embroidery. You got people that's really dipping the staves in gold. I mean, he's really doing a marvelous work to this tabernacle. And when we see this tabernacle again in the kingdom, it's going to be a wonderful thing. Hallelujah. 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 Right. So we got to understand, man, each part of this tabernacle, he used a certain amount, a certain wood. He used a certain material that he knows is going to have the tabernacle standing. He used the brass on certain parts, because you know that's steel. So he had that to hold it up. Then he had the gold, the spoons, the bowls. All that stuff is in gold. Certain things he had layered in gold. Certain things, the rings, to hold the staves up. Some of those things was in brass. Some of them were layered with gold. So he knew what he was doing. He had the ram skin. Check out how he dyed the goat skin. A lot of our people right now are dyeing their hair blonde, right? And they thought that's a new thing in the earth. The Most High been dyeing the goat's hair for how long? For many years, thousands of years, right? So we're gonna pick it back up where I left off at. Exodus 36 and what's that? 16. Yeah.
Okay, Exodus chapter 36.
We left off at 37. So 37. Oh, I'm sorry, chapter 37, verse 16, right? Con?
The book of Exodus chapter 37, verse 16.
Great.
And he made the vessels which were upon the table, his dishes, and his spoons, and his bowls, and his covers to cover with all of pure gold.
Right, so you know, when you go to the dollar store, they sell you that them cheap spoons and forks look gold. You know, that thing is fake, like you don't know what. Right? Read on.
Verse 17. And he made the candlestick of pure gold.
He made a candlestick of what?
Pure gold.
So he's talking about a candlestick, that's the menorah behind us. He made that of pure gold. Read on. Look at that. Can we afford, look at that. This thing is brass right now. Right? And this thing is very heavy. So if he made it of pure gold, can you imagine how much it would be worth? A lot of money. Right? Read.
Of bead work made he the candlestick.
Right?
His shaft, and his branch, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers were of the same.
Right.
Verse 18. And 6 branches going out of the sides thereof. 3 branches of the candlestick out of the one side thereof.
Okay.
And 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side thereof.
Okay. Read.
Verse 19. 3 bowls made after the fashion of almonds, and 1 branch, a knop, and a flower. And 3 bowls made like almonds, and another branch, a knop, and a flower. So throughout the 6 branches going out of the candlestick. Verse 20. And in the candlestick were 4 bowls made like almonds, his knops, and his flowers.
Right, it's just going into what it's made, or how it's made. And you see on here, they have flowers on here also too. Like they were breaded inside here. You know what I mean? And the way where you put the anointed oil inside. Everything was specifically just made out to where the Most High wanted. You know? Read.
Verse 21. and a knot under 2 branches of the same, and a knot under 2 branches of the same, and a knot under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches going out of it.
So it's telling you about the 6 branches on one side. I mean, the 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. Read on.
Verse 22.
Okay, read.
Their knops and their branches were of the same. All of it was one beaten work of pure gold.
Right.
And he made his 7 lamps.
How many lamps?
7 lamps.
How many lamps?
7 lamps.
Right, so you know, when you go in the store and you're looking to buy menorah for your house, you may go in there, they may have 9 branches. Like, man, what is this?
Amalex.
See, they're trying to confuse you. Get you caught up in, you know, worshiping something else. Saying, oh, this is a celebrational menorah. You know. But when you read in the scriptures, it's telling you that how many branches it has? Read it again.
7 lamps.
7 lamps. So the 7 lamps is talking about this here menorah. So if you go into the dollar store or you're looking somewhere and you're looking for a 7 branch menorah and it has 9 or 10 or how many knows, who knows how many they added on. You know that's not the one you need to pick up,
That's right.
Right? Because right here in the scriptures it's telling you it's 7. Right? That's why the Most High created what? How many days? 7 days, right? 7 churches of Asia Minor, right? Everything is 7. That's the Most High's number.
Completion.
7 is completion. He completed everything in 7 days. All right. Read on.
And he made his 7 lamps, and his snuffers, and his snuff dishes of pure gold. Verse 24. Of a talent of pure gold made he it, and all the vessels thereof. And he made the incense altar of shittim wood. The length of it was a cubit, and the breadth of it a cubit. It was 4 square, and 2 cubits was the height of it. The horns thereof were of the same. Verse 26. And he overlaid it with pure gold, both the top of it, and the sides thereof round about, and the horns of it. Also he made unto it a crown of gold round about. And he made 2 rings of gold for it under the crown thereof, by the 2 corners of it, upon the 2 sides thereof, to be places for the staves to bear it withal.
Right.
Verse 28. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold.
Right, so now he's going into the altar for the incense. I mean, right now we have this little chariot, got wheels on it in the front, but this thing was a nice size, man. You know, when they light up the frankincense and myrrh, like what we light up in the morning, it has no comparison. They've got to put a little charcoal, you know, put a little incense on there. We get it blowing. I see some people in here, their eyes get a little watery, they be coughing. Can you imagine can you imagine if we really had this altar really blown up like the way the Most High say to do it? We won't be able to breathe in here. Read on.
Exodus 38.
We'll really get the spirits out of here now. Read on.
29. And he made the holy anointing oil.
Right, the holy anointing oil, right? We get the anointing oil, right? Didn't we get it during the last high holy day we had? And we all get anointed? I know some of us weren't here, we missed it, but you know, make sure you're here for these high holy days, because this is part of our heritage. This is part of rehearsing the righteous acts, that we get anointed. A lot of people in Israel are not doing the anointing prayer. But if the scriptures tell us to rehearse the righteous acts, that's part of rehearsing the righteous acts. Getting anointed, coming for the feast days. Right? This is part of our heritage, Con? All right. Make sure we're on the same page. Read.
Exodus 38 and verse 29. And he made the holy anointing oil and the pure incense of sweet spices, according to the work of the apothecary. Right.
He said according to the work of the apothecary. Anybody know what that is? Apothecary. Wow. Anybody ever heard that word before? What is that apothecary? What will he be today? Anybody can take a educated guess? My number 1 student, I'm a 1. Stand up. Right, he will be your pharmacist today. Right? Yeah, he would be like the pharmacist. Like you go right now, some of you might be on some kind of blood pressure medication. You know, right now they got a machine that does everything, but back then they had to go get the herbs, the spices and everything. They had to go mix it up and prepare this thing because you know you were feeling ill. So the apothecary, he was the one who put these things together. Right? Let me get a scripture on it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that scripture. Get some more understanding on his job before we move on to the next chapter. Where was that? Remember that show? Right, I got it. The book of Sirach, chapter 38. The book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 38. We start at verse 1. We go down.
The book, Ecclesiasticus chapter 38 and verse 1. If you have the red upon corners, page 93. Honor a physician.
Right.
With the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him.
So it's going into the physician. Who's a physician? The doctor. Okay? Right? Read.
For the Lord hath created him.
Who created him?
For the Lord hath created him.
A lot of y'all don't understand, man. The Most High created all wisdom. That's according to Scripture. Y'all think y'all looking up at Esau like he's some kind of God because now he could create this, he did this. The Most High gave him that wisdom.
God.
You think we're gonna get into the kingdom and we're gonna be riding horses? You know, Esau was first riding horse. You think John Wayne was the first one on the horse? What you don't know was Abraham was first. He was first to really teach the horse, to tame the horse. I bet you y'all don't know that. We'll bring that out one day. Right? Read on.
Verse 2. For of the Most High cometh healing.
Come the Most High cometh what?
Cometh healing.
For of the Most High comes healing. So a lot of us are sick with all kind of different diseases and things that's going on because we under the curses. Come? So if we sick with some kind of illness, who do we need to get healed from? The Most High, right? You need to see the physician. Some of us might be so far gone, might need to see the physician. Read.
And he shall receive honor of the king.
Read on.
Verse 3. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration.
Read on.
The Lord have created medicines out of the earth.
Read that again.
The Most High have created medicines out of the earth.
The Most High created these medicines out of the earth, man. I know a lot of people, I see everybody now, they legalizing marijuana, so now everybody want to get a prescription now. Oh yeah, I'm sick, so I need to get the herb, make me feel better. The herb, Benjamin said the herb make you smart. Can't make you too smart if you don't know your Hebrew. Right? So, the medicines come from the earth. Right? What is that? What's that medicine that the dentist give you when they get ready to pull your tooth? What is that? What's that called? Novocaine, right? Where do you get it from? Huh? Get it from a plant. Right. Originally, that's where it comes from. Of course, now it's mass produced and now they got all these different things inside of it. But originally, that's where it came from. Right? We knew that. Read.
Ecclesiasticus 38:4. The Most High have created medicines out of the earth.
Read on.
And he that is wise will not abhor them.
Read on.
Verse 5. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known?
Right.
And he hath given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous works.
Read.
With such doeth he heal men and take away their pains.
Right. So you see that? The Most High do that. Take away the pain. Why? He put the spirit, the wisdom, just like he put the spirit in that brother right here, Bezalel, right? Right, to build, put the shittim wood together and do the embroidery. He put the spirit on them. Read.
Verse 8. Of such doeth the apothecary.
Right, there's the word again, apothecary. Right, the pharmacy, right? Read.
Make a confection. And of his works there is no end.
Read.
and from him is peace over all the earth.
Right. Drop that. Give me Deuteronomy 32 and 39. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 39. We got to understand that where all where these medicines come from. They all originally go back to the earth. That's why the Most High said in Genesis that he gave us herb. The herb was for us to eat, you know, some of it for us for, you know, for medicine, right? Deuteronomy 32, verse 39.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, and verse 39.
Yeah, what does that say?
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me.
Right.
I kill.
Right.
And I make alive.
So the Most High kills and he makes alive, read.
I wound.
I do what?
I wound.
So the Most High will wound you, right? Read.
And I heal.
And he do what?
And I heal.
So the Most High will also heal you. Read.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Right. Nobody can deliver you out of the Most High hand. Gone?
Gone.
The scripture says it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the Heavenly Father. We got to understand that what? During this time, we had everything. What you see now today is nothing new. That's why he said there's no new thing under the sun. Because we had our pharmacists. We had people to deal with us when we died. What happened when we died? What do they do? What happens when you die today? Check that out. They take you, or you die in a hospital, or when you die on the ground somewhere outside, they take you to the hospital, pronounce you dead, right? Then they take you somewhere, they embalm your body. They do all these things, then the funeral home gets you. We had all that stuff. We had that stuff a long time ago. This ain't nothing new. A lot of us don't even know that. They think this thing is something new, embalming fluid and all that. We used to bomb each other years ago and put us in the tomb, right? A lot of us were buried in the ground because that was the scripture told us that he didn't want us to be buried. Even Jacob, when we left out of Egypt, he said, "Dig me up, man. Yeah. You know, take me with you." Even though he wasn't physically there, but he said, "Yo, he didn't want his bones nowhere near Egypt." Not after what they put he knew that they was gonna put his people through that. So he said, "Yo, pick me up and bring me to my holy land, man, and bury me there." Trust me, if I had it like that, I'll do it too, man. We want to be there. And well, we should get there in the flesh while we're still alive. Not while we're trying to obtain death, you know? Gun? All right. Go back. We're going to chapter 38.
The book of Exodus, chapter 38, verse 1.
Read.
And he made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood. 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square, and 3 cubits the height thereof.
Okay.
Verse 2. And he made the horns thereof on the 4 corners of it. The horns thereof were of the same, and he overlaid it with brass.
Right.
And he made all the vessels of the altar, the pots, and the shovels, and the basins, and the flesh hooks, and the fire pans. All the vessels thereof made he of brass.
Right.
And he made for the altar a brazen grate of network under the compass thereof beneath unto the midst of it. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the grate of the brass to be places for the staves.
Right. So, you know, they made these vessels. A lot of these vessels they made of gold, you know. And, you know, a lot of these vessels, some of them were made to washing of the feet. Everybody remember that story when the Mashiach washed the man's feet before he came into the house? Showing that spirit of humility. A lot of us wouldn't even dare touch someone else's feet during this time. They say, "Oh, well, you know, that was back then. I ain't touching no man's feet," you know. But the Mashiach, if he can do it, who are you? Who are you? You got to think about that. He went and died on that cross for you, everyone that's sitting in this room. You mean tell me you can't pull out a basin, priest bring a basin up here with some water and some soap? You can't put a little soap on your brother's feet, scrub it a little bit? He did it. Yeah, all right. You got to start thinking about that. I'm talking to the men and the women, the Akim and the Akwathim. It's very serious. Read on.
Verse 5. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the grate of brass to be places for the staves. And he made the staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with brass. And he put the staves into the rings on the sides of the altar to bear it withal. He made the altar hollow with boards. And he made the laver of brass and the foot of it of brass of the looking glasses of the women assembling, which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he made the court on the south side southward. The hangings of the court were of fine twinned linen, 100 cubits.
Right, so we wore real linen, man. Not this stuff they're putting out now and everything all mixed up.
Yeah.
Right?
Verse 10. Their pillars were 20, and their brazen sockets 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. And for the north side, the hangings were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20.
Wow, that's pretty tall. 100 cubits, right?
And their sockets of brass 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. Verse 12. And for the west side were hangings of 50 cubits, their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver.
What's those sockets for? Sockets. Why do you keep making these sockets? Anybody can help me out with that? I'm one again, the number 1 student. What's going on, I'm one?
So it can be mobile when they move.
Right, so we get ready to move, you can pull things apart. I know a lot of you when growing up, you had that little I know some of the young men. Maybe they had a little race set, you know what I mean? The little racing car, you put the racing car on the set. It came with these things like sockets. You click them together, you put the racing track together. When you was done, you want to go over your auntie house or something. Hey, I want to bring my game with me. I want to bring my racing game. So you took it apart. You was able to put it back in the box and carry it with you. You know what I mean? So a lot of toys, even now today, are like that. So they made a tabernacle so it was mobile. Because a lot of times, you know, when we were at war, a lot of times they want to come and attack us during the Sabbath day. Because that's when we were vulnerable. Because why? What were we doing on the Sabbath day?
Right.
We were doing what? What are we doing now?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine? They got 20 cops outside banging on the door trying to get in here. They trying to rush to this place. We trying to do the Sabbath day. What the women gonna do? They gonna start screaming. That's the first thing, right? What the men gonna do? They gonna start screaming? All right. So we gotta stand up and be men. Somebody try to come through those doors? No. So this is a time that, you know, during the Sabbath day, a lot of times they try to attack us. Right? Read on.
Verse 13. And for the east side, eastward,
right,
50 cubits. The hangings of the one side of the gate were 15 cubits. Their pillars 3, and their sockets 3.
Right.
And for the other side of the court gate,
the sockets was 3 cubits. It's pretty big. Right? So just know this place, this tabernacle couldn't fit right here in the garage outside here. You know that little parking space we got out there? It couldn't fit out there. The tabernacle. That'd be too big. You know, we talking about 100 cubits, certain things, part of it is 50 cubits here. If you look and listen to the measurements, you go home, they say, what, how many cubits? 1 cubit is? 18 inches, right? Foot and a half. It's about 18 inches, right? Read.
Verse 15. And for the other side of the court gate, on this hand and that hand were hangings of 15 cubits, 3 pillars 3, and their sockets 3. All the hangings of the court round about were of fine twinned linen, and the sockets for the pillars were of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver, and the overlaying of their chapitiers of silver. And all the pillars of the court were filleted, were silver.
Right, so that's, you know, that's that real silver, man. Not that stuff the Chinese man sell you. You gotta understand, this is pure. All this stuff is pure. Like he says, layered with pure gold, like the priest was bringing out earlier. That's not talking about that 10 karat, 14 karat. This stuff is pure gold out of the rock. Okay? It's been put through the fire and it's been melted down. This is pure 100% gold. Right now, even America don't even have that kind of gold right now. Right? But it's sold out. Read on.
Verse 18. And the hanging for the gate of the court was needlework of blue and purple and scarlet,
right,
and fine twinned linen. And 20 cubits was the length, and the height, and the breadth. The breadth was 5 cubits, answerable to the hangings of the court. And their pillars were 4, and their sockets of brass 4. Their hooks of silver, and the overlaying of their chapiters, and their fillets of silver.
Hey, did any one of them have a sewing machine back then? Just trying to figure it out. Let me ask some of the women. Some of the women do some sewing. No, men, put your hands down. Let me ask some of the Akwate. Did they have a sewing machine back then? Did they have a machine that they had embroidery on there? You set it. Because right now they got the new machines now. You can hook it up to your laptop, hook it up to your computer. You can put in Mickey Mouse face and they'll have that thing embroidered on your shirt in about 15 minutes. Yeah, so they didn't have these things. When you hear them say the needlework, somebody had the needle and the thread, like you see your grandma used to do, and lick and the thread and put it through, and they was in there doing the work. They were doing some hard work back then. I know a lot of you women complain about the work they're doing now. Oh, that job have me stressed out. Whew, whew. Boss telling me what to do. I'm tired of him. You imagine sitting there from sun up to sundown and just needling, just sewing this linen together, whether it be in the hot sun or in the winter. Check that out. You got to think about it. Women work really hard. Right? Read on.
Verse 20. And all the pins of the tabernacle and of the court round about were of brass. This is the sum of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacle of testimony, as it was counted according to the commandment of Moses, for the service of the Levites by the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest.
Right, so this is a job of the Levites, man. The Levites had to come together and do this thing. Put it together, break it down. They had a lot of work to do. Right? Read on.
Verse 22. And Bezaleel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah,
right,
made all that the Most High commanded Moses.
Right, so even Judah, they had their part into it, right? Not only Levi was part of the service too also. But Judah, they had their portion too they had to do. Everybody had to pitch in. Right? Just like when we break up from here and we get ready to leave. How do you think these chairs get put away? How do you think the floor gets clean? Everyone chips in. Khan? Read.
Verse 23. And with him was Eliab, son of Ashamak, of the tribe of Dan,
right,
an engraver.
Who?
An engraver.
Right. So they had an engraver. You know, a lot of us get, we got to go to the, some place or go to someone who had the machine, get some things engraved. This guy, we had our own engraver during this time. So Esau comes up with this thing. You think he done came up with something? You think he's some magical? Now he know how to engrave. We've been doing this thing for so many years. That's why the scriptures say we've been discontinued from our heritage. Our women are not engraving anything anymore. Right? And our men not going out there building the tabernacle. So we got to get back to that. Sooner or later, we got to come back to our heritage. Right? Our women got to start sewing. As long as, listen, if our women start sewing, and even some of the men, because the men sew too. We start sewing, we'll have more fringes on our clothes. Can you imagine that? Every time you walk into the store, somebody see you, man, where you get that from? Every time I wear my fringes, somebody say, hey, where you get that from? Where you get that shirt from? That's a nice shirt. Then you start to tell them why you have that shirt, why you have those fringes. Because it will remind you to keep the commandments and that you're Hebrew. Khan? They ask you, what are you? You Hebrew? Say, I need Ivrit. I need Ivrit. I am Hebrew. Be proud to say that. Put your head up. It's a heritage. Then some other people say, well, who are you? They say, I'm black. They get puffed up, their chest get puffed out.
I'm from Wakanda.
Right, I'm from Wakanda. That's a new hip thing now. I'm from Wakanda. A lot of people trying to relate themselves back to Africa. They can't even trace yourself back to Africa. But we can trace ourselves back to the Most High. Through what? Our lineage. Because we're what? Hebrew. Khan? What are you?
Hebrew.
Man, you heard him say something now? What are you?
Hebrew.
All right, you got to say it like you proud. Say it loud and proud. James Brown used to say it loud and proud. I'm black and I'm proud. You know, in the back in the 60s. Right? Right, D? Read on.
Book of Exodus, chapter 38 and verse 23. And with him was Ahaliab,
right,
son of Ahashamak of the tribe of Dan,
right,
an engraver and a cunning workman, and an embroiderer in blue and in purple and in scarlet and fine linen.
Right, they go to the flag again. Blue, the purple, right, and the scarlet is the red. And that's a man. It's not a woman doing the engraving. Check that out. Read.
Verse 24. All the gold that was occupied for the work and all the work of the holy place, even the gold of the offering, was 29 talents, and 730 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary.
Right.
And the silver of them that were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents, and 1,760 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary.
Right, so this shekels is talking about money. Right? The shekels is talking about, is referring to our currency at this time. All right, read.
Verse 26. A bekah for every man that is half a shekel. After the shekel of the sanctuary for every one that went to the numbered from 20 years old and upward.
There's that 20 years old again. So when you became 20, as a man, you became a man. You started doing certain things that consist of being a man, like going out to war. That was one of the things. They didn't send nobody that was under 20 out to war. You had to reach 20, and then that was the time that you went out and you did the work with Moses and Aaron. Right? Read.
For 600,000 and 3,550 men.
Read that again.
For 600,000 and 3,550 men.
Wow, that's a lot of men.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of men. Didn't even mention nobody under that. So every one of these guys had to been 20 and older. Right? Read.
Verse 27. And of the 100 talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary and the sockets of the veil. And 100 sockets of the 100 talents, a talent for a socket. And of the 1,775 shekels, he made hooks for the pillars and overlaid their chapiters and filleted them.
Right, so they brought the shekels, again, like the currency, and they used these things and melted them down because they were gold. Melted them down and used them as part of the building of the tabernacle. Right, read on.
Verse 29. And the brass of the offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. And therewith he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the brazen altar, and the brazen grate for it, and all the vessels of the altar.
Right, let me ask you my question. Where did we get all this gold from? Because we was walking in the wilderness. I mean, we Exodus. This is Exodus. We exited out.
Yeah.
Deep. Right? Oh, yeah, we had borrowed it from them, right? Yeah. That's what the scripture say. We borrowed it, right? Right. So we got all these different metals, gold and brass and stuff like that, right? And we used it for the building of the tabernacle, right? Read on.
Verse 31. And the sockets of the court round
I didn't want
about.
nobody to say that we invested in the stock market. That's how we got all this money, right? You know, there was no stock market back then, right? All right. Make sure everybody's with me. Read.
Verse 31. And the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets of the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. Exodus 39:1.
Right.
And of the blue and purple and scarlet they made cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron.
Right. Everybody know why they keep mentioning the blue and the scarlet and the purple? Anybody know? Somebody, anybody? Anybody know? This was our royal colors. These are our colors. You know how the gang system, the Bloods got red, Crips got blue. You know, that's foolishness. Of course, we know that. That's garbage. We have our own colors. We don't need the Bloods and the Crips. We don't need none of that. These are our colors right here. Why are we representing the red, white, and blue on the flag with the stars and all that? I'm coming to America. I'm going to put on my American flag on my shirt. I'm proud to be an American. You get all patriotic on us. There's our colors right there. That's why they keep mentioning it. And when we first started out reading Exodus 35, I'm telling you, it mentioned everything that we're doing is something that's willingly that we do it. The Most High is not forcing us. Nobody's putting a gun in nobody's head. We have to willingly want to serve God. If you're not willing, want to do it, then why are you here? Trust me, I mean, a lot of people could be doing a lot of different things today. Today's Saturday, you know, it's a regular day for regular people in the world. They got the one-day Macy's sale. Everything is going down over there, right? The $10 store, the $5.99 shoe store on Hillsborough, they popping today. Hobby Lobby is popping. I know where y'all women shop at. I'm watching y'all. I know y'all all shopping at Walmart. So I know y'all go to these places and they have all the sales today. But it's good to see our women here, and it's good to see the men here also too. That we're not trying to catch these sales, that we're here serving the Most High willingly. Don't be here because your husband is here. Don't be here because you got a cousin that come here. Be here because you want to be here. Because if your cousin gets sick one week, we're going to say, well, yo, I can't make it because my cousin's sick. Or I can't make it because, you know, I don't have this person. That's what you're going to say when the Most High come back and start redeeming his people? Oh, Most High, I can't go with you right now because, yo, I'm waiting on my cousin. I'm waiting on my brother. I'm waiting on my husband. I'm waiting on my wife. I can't go to the kingdom without my wife. Think about that. Go to the kingdom without who? Listen, just like what happened with Lot, right? When he left out of Sodom and Gomorrah, what did the Most High told him? What did he say? What did he say?
Don't look back.
He told him not to look back. And what his wife did?
Look back.
All right. See? A perfect example. When it's time to get out of here, I'm not looking back. That's the spirit that you need to have on you. We're not looking back when we get out of here. Con? Con? Now, some of you may want to look back and you left your Maserati or something. You left your big wheel, your four-wheeler. You see Jake in the world out here, they be riding up and down the block sometimes on the field with it. You think that Mashiach come back right now, you think they be ready to leave? No, they be like, all right, Mashiach, catch up with you later, man. I'm going to hook up with Day and them. Junebug. Yeah. They ain't got time for him. If they ain't in here now, they ain't got time, brother. That's why we go out here and teach our people, man. Willingly you have to come to this work. We give you the scripture, one man planteth, another man watereth, and what? The Most High gives the increase. Read on.
Exodus 39:1. And of the blue and purple and scarlet, they made cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron, as the Most High commanded Moses. And he made the ephod of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And they did beat the gold into thin plates, and cut it into wires, to work it in the blue, and in the purple, and in the scarlet, and in the fine linen.
Wow, you see that?
Cutting work.
That's some cutting work right there. Look at the flag right there, right? They took the gold and made it so thin, right? So they can actually, like the sign. You see the menorah, all the writings and everything, all the tribes are in gold. They took that, they thinned the gold out, and they sewed it and twined it into the fabric. Right? We got a machine now to print this, right? I mean, it's very nice, you know what I mean? But can you imagine they're using real gold, and they're using the royal purple, the scarlet, that red, and that royal blue, and then you see real gold embroidered inside there? That's got to be a marvelous work. I would love to see that. Deep? What you gonna say?
I see some of those roads when I was in Germany.
Oh, you was in Germany, okay.
Even the whole church wall was gold plated.
Amazing, huh? Never seen nothing like that before in your life. You think you see a gold cup in Walmart somewhere, you think you're seeing something. That's garbage. You got to understand the real work of the Most High, man. And our people, we did this work. Read.
The book of Exodus chapter 39 and verse 4.
Uh-huh.
They made shoulder pieces for it to couple it together. By the two edges was it coupled together.
Right.
And the curious girdle of his ephod that was upon it was of the same, according to the work thereof, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, as the Most High commanded Moses.
Uh-huh.
And they wrought onyx stones enclosed in ouches of gold, graven as signets, or graven with the names of the children of Israel.
Right, you see that engraved in the names of the children of Israel. Just like right here on this plaque right here. Right? Right?
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And he put them on the shoulders of the ephod, that they should be stones for a memorial to the children of Israel.
Right, so what it means a memorial? What does that mean? To do what? Right. All throughout the scriptures, even when we talk about our high holy days, the Most High call it some sort of memorial. For us to remember that this is not something that we did, oh, this is the Bible. Hey, it's talking about those people over there and they did that.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't do that now. We need to rehearse the righteous act. We need to do the same thing. Right? We need to remember that we need to keep the tabernacles. Right? What's the next high holy day coming up? Passover, right? Well, the month of Abib is coming. That's the first month of the year, right? A-B-I-B, Abib, the first month of the year. This is our new year. Con? All right. And we're going to throw it up. It's next week Saturday, actually. Sundown. So before we leave out of here today, we're going to go around, we're going to scribe and make sure everyone is bringing something. Con? All right. Read on.
Exodus 39 and 7.
Uh-huh.
And he put them on the shoulders of the ephod, that they should be stones for a memorial to the children of Israel, as the Most High commanded Moses. Verse 8. And he made the breastplate of cunning work, like the work of the ephod, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. It was 4 square. They made the breastplate double. A span was the length thereof, and a span the breadth thereof, being doubled. Verse 10. And they set in it 4 rows of stones. The first row was a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This was the first row. Right,
so it's going into now what the ephod looks like. I don't know if anyone have one on it now, but it said it was 4 stones, right? And it started from what side? The right side? Onto the left? Read that again.
Verse 9.
Right.
It was 4 square. They made the breastplate double. A span was the length thereof, and a span the breadth thereof, being doubled.
Okay, read.
And they set it 4 rows of stones. The first row was a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This was the first row.
Okay.
And the second row, an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond.
Right.
Verse 12. And the third row, a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst. Verse 13.
Right.
And the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper.
Right.
They were enclosed in ouches of gold in their enclosings.
Right, so they name all these different stones, right? And these stones represented each tribe. All right, each one of our tribe, right, we had our own stone. You know what I mean? It's very important. It's good to know. Right, read.
Verse 14. And the stones.
You see what I'm saying? Right, it's actually on the sign. All the stones here, it's right next to the name of the tribes. Right? Read on.
Verse 14. And the stones were according to the names of the children of Israel.
See that? Read.
12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet, every one with his name according to the 12 tribes.
Right, so every stone and everything had their own name. Right? Read on.
Verse 15. And they made upon the breastplate chains at the ends of reddened work of pure gold.
Right.
And they made the 2 ouches of gold and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings in the 2 ends of the breastplate.
Right, so it's showing what the priest, what he had on. He had the ephod on. He had all the stones in it. The names was on it. The chain that held it, everything was gold. Right? Read.
Verse 17. And they put the 2 redden chains of gold in the 2 rings of the ends of the breastplate. And the 2 ends of the 2 redden chains they fastened in the 2 ouches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it. And they made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate upon the border of it, which was on the side of the ephod inward. Verse 20. And they made 2 other golden rings, and put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the fore part of it, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod.
Right. So it's under the girdle, right? Read.
Verse 21. And they did bind the breastplate by his rings unto the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, that it might be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate might not be loosed from the ephod, as the Most High commanded Moses. Verse 22. And he made the robe of the ephod of woven work, all of blue. And there was an hole in the midst of the robe, as the hole of an habergeon, with a band round about the hole, that it should not rend. And they made upon the hems of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet and twined linen.
Right, so the pomegranate, you know, that's going to like the fruit, the way it looks. Right, the way the shape of the pomegranate is, right? They had them on the bottom of their garments, next to the fringes. Right, all this is talking about the priestly garments right now. Right, Israel already built a tabernacle already. We built the altar, we built the incense altar, we did all this stuff already. Now they're showing you how like Aaron and Moses, how they would dress, right, before they go into the altar. Right, read on.
Verse 25. And they made bells of pure gold,
right,
and put the bells between the pomegranates upon the hem of the robe, round about between the pomegranates.
Right, maybe when it come time for the new year on the 17th, maybe the priest will delight us with his priestly garments. He has the pomegranate, he has all that stuff. He has the ephod and gold, you know, because we are supposed to be rehearsing the righteous act. And if you coming up and you being a priesthood, this is where you should dress. Con? Read on.
Verse 26.
I don't want to put no pressure on you, but read on.
Verse 26. A bell and a pomegranate.
Right.
A bell and a pomegranate.
Right, that's what it was, a bell and a pomegranate.
Yeah.
And you see, you would hear the priest coming. He come through that door. Ding, ding, you hear the bells ringing. Right, because they're on the ends of the garment, right?
Round about the hem.
Right about where?
About the hem.
Right, so it's down where the fringes is at.
Con.
Right, right.
Of the robe to minister in, as the Most High commanded Moses.
Right, so the Most High commanded him to dress like this. Right?
Verse 27. And they made coats of fine linen of woven work for Aaron and his sons.
Right.
Verse 28.
So they made what? They made coats of fine linen, woven work for Aaron and his sons. Right, so they wore, you know, long robes and coats. Right?
Verse 28.
Uh-huh.
And a mitri.
A who?
A mitri.
Right, so that's like, a mitri is like what some people would call like a turban. You know what I mean? Some of us wear a mitri, right?
Of fine linen.
Uh-huh.
And goodly bonnets of fine linen. And linen breeches.
Linen who?
Linen breeches.
Right.
Of fine twin linen.
Right, and we have breeches on, pants. Everybody got that? All right. The high priest didn't wear skirts. Okay? Read.
Verse 29.
Uh-huh.
And a girdle of fine twin linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet of needlework, as the Most High commanded Moses.
Okay.
Verse 30. And they made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and wrote upon it a writing like to an engravings of a signet, a holiness to the Most High.
Right, holiness to the Most High. Read.
And they tried unto it a lace of blue.
They tied onto it, right?
To fasten it on high upon the mitri, as the Most High commanded Moses.
Right, so they had their holiness to the Most High, you know, upon the mitri. Right, they had it engraved. Read.
Verse 32. Thus was all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation finished.
Right.
And the children of Israel did according to all that the Most High commanded Moses, so did they. Verse 33. And they brought the tabernacle unto Moses, the tent, and all his furniture, his taches, his boards, his bars, and his pillars, and his sockets, and the covering of ram's skins, dyed red, and the covering of badger skins, and the veil of the covering, the ark of the testimony, and the staves thereof, and the mercy seat, the table and all the vessels thereof, and the showbread.
The who?
Showbread.
Right, so the table and the vessel thereof, and the showbread. Right, so all these things are very important that they will have on the altar. Right, read on.
Verse 37.
Right, we need to get some showbread on this altar. Right, read.
The pure candlestick.
Right, we got the candlestick. Read.
With the lamps thereof, even with the lamps to be set in order, and all the vessels thereof, and the oil for light, and the golden altar, and the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging for the tabernacle door, the brazen altar, and his grate of brass, his staves, and all his vessels, the laver, and his foot, the hangings of the court, his pillars,
right,
and
so
his sockets.
the laver, I think that's the laver, that's what they use the washing of the foot.
Yeah.
Right, that's what it's called, the laver vessel. Right, that's what they use the washing of the feet. Right, read on.
Verse 40. The hangings of the court, his pillars, and his sockets, and the hanging for the court gate, his cords, and his pins, and all the vessels of the service of the tabernacle for the tent of the congregation, the cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and his sons' garments to minister in the priest's office. Verse 42. According to all that the Most High commanded Moses, so the children of Israel made all the work. And Moses did look upon all the work, and behold, they had done it as the Most High had commanded. Even so had they done it, and Moses blessed them.
Right, so Moses blessed them, man. Doing all that work, man. That was a lot of work that we did back then. You know, putting together the tabernacle, putting together the altar. Even the priest garments, they got together and they were putting that together. You know, the bonnets and all of the meat tree and the ephod. They had to build all that, get those stones, put them inside there. You know, make sure everything is embroidered inside where they need to be. That was a lot of work, right? It's the last chapter. We're going to finish it up? We're going to take a break. We're going to finish it up? All right, we're going to finish the last chapter. Verse 40.
The book of Exodus.
Sorry, chapter 40.
The book of Exodus, chapter 40 and 1.
Right.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, On the first day of the first month shalt thou set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation.
Whoa, wait a minute. That's very important right there. He said the first day of the first month. When's that coming? 17th what? Right, this next week Saturday. They'll be setting up right now. We had the tabernacle. We'll be getting ready to set this thing up right now. All right? That's something.
Yeah.
Read.
Verse 3. And thou shalt put therein the ark of testimony, and cover the ark with the veil.
Right, so they cover the ark of the covenant. Right? Everybody knows what's in the ark of the covenant? What's that again? Stand up. You're a soldier, you got to stand up. All right? The Ten Commandments and what else? Who? You need some help? You need a lifeline? You need a 50-50? The showbread. And there's one more thing. Huh? And the manna. Very good. Thank you, brother. There you go. So all three of those things are inside the tabernacle. They kept it there. Aaron's staff, the Ten Commandments, and the manna. We're the only people upon this earth that receive manna from heaven. Heavenly bread, man. Check that out. Not that stuff Publix sell you. Right? I know some of you don't shop at Publix, too expensive, maybe Walmart. Right? But either way, it's none of that stuff. It's a real thing. Read.
Exodus 40 and verse 4. And thou shalt bring in the table and set in order the things that are to be set in order upon it. And thou shalt bring in the candlestick and light the lamps thereof.
Okay.
Verse 5. And thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging of the door to the tabernacle.
Right. So we got the candlestick, right? It's right behind us. We got the incense, we burning it, frankincense and myrrh. We're going to get some bigger ones, man. We're going to get some. I've seen some. I've been looking it up, trying to find them. We're going to burn some serious incense in here. Y'all complain about that little Man, listen. I know back in the day, Kahana, they used to have that place smoked out. I know years ago when I went, they used to light it up, man. Forget about it. They've been there. I mean, everything looks cloudy. They look cloudy. So, you know, we burn the incense, the frankincense and myrrh. The Most High, He loves it. It's a sweet smell. He loved that smell. He loved the way we set up the prayers and we rejoicing and we glorifying His name. This is part of our walk. Read.
Exodus chapter 14, verse 6. And thou shalt set the altar of the burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation. And thou shalt set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and shalt put water therein.
Right, you're going to put water in that laver, because why?
Yes.
What are we putting water in the laver for? Somebody help me out. My number one student going to stand up again? I'm going to start calling on some names next time. Right, and the washing of the feet. It's very important. All right, we're going to be implementing that soon. Y'all get ready. Read on.
Verse 8. And thou shalt set up the court round about, and hang up the hanging at the court gate. And thou shalt take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle, and all that is therein, and shalt hallow it, and all the vessels thereof. And it shall be holy.
Right.
Verse 10. And thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offering, and all his vessels, and sanctify the altar. And it shall be an altar most holy.
Right, so it said, thou shalt anoint the altar. They anointed the altar with the anointing oil, man. And they send the prayers up. You know, to what? Sanctify. What does it mean to sanctify something? Set apart. To make it what? To make it holy. To make it clean. Con? Right? Read.
Verse 11. And thou shalt anoint the laver and his foot.
The laver and the foot? Oh, man, I didn't know about going to the foot too, huh? All right, all right. Okay. Huh? Yeah, huh?
Stop in.
Okay. You gonna do it?
Don't stop in and you take it.
Yeah, okay.
And thou shalt anoint the laver and his foot,
right,
and sanctify it. And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water.
Read.
And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him, and sanctify him, and he may minister unto me in the priest's office. Verse 14. And thou shalt bring his sons, and clothe them with coats.
Read.
And thou shalt anoint them, as thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. For their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations.
For how long?
Throughout their generations.
Right, so this is the part of the generation, the priesthood, man. All these things that we're doing now, we're just rehearsing the righteous acts. Read on.
Verse 16. Thus did Moses. According to all that the Most High commanded he, so did he. And it came to pass in the first month, in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up. And Moses reared up the tabernacle, and fastened in his sockets, and set up the boards thereof, and put in the bars thereof, and reared up his pillars.
Right.
And he spread abroad the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent above upon it, as the Most High commanded Moses. Verse 20. And he took and put the testimony into the ark, and set the staves of the ark, and put the mercy seat above upon the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, and set up the veil of the covering, and covered the ark of the testimony, as the Most High commanded Moses. And he put the table in the tent of the congregation upon the side of the tabernacle northward, without the veil. Verse 23. And he set the bread and oil upon it before the Most High, as the Most High had commanded Moses.
All right, read on.
And he put the candlestick in the tent of the congregation over against the table on the side of the tabernacle southward. And he lighted the lamps before the Most High, as the Most High commanded Moses. And he put the golden altar in the tent of the congregation before the veil. And he burnt sweet incense thereon, as the Most High commanded Moses.
Right, so all these things, you know, the Most High told Moses to do. You know, he told them to light the candle, right? Light the menorah, light the incense. You know, all these things that we do just about every week after week. Read on.
Verse 28.
Right.
And he set up the hanging at the door of the tabernacle. And he put the altar of the burnt offering by the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and offered upon it the burnt offering and the meat offering, as the Most High commanded Moses.
Right. We're not. That's one thing we're not doing. We're not doing the offering, because why? Who's the offering now?
Christ.
Who? We are. We are the offering now. We're not setting up burnt offerings anymore. Right? Read on.
Verse 30. And he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put water there to wash withal. 31. And Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet thereat, when they went into the tent of the congregation, and when they came near unto the altar, they washed, as the Most High commanded Moses. Verse 33. And he reared up the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the hanging of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Most High filled the tabernacle.
Right. So they did all this work during the time of the first month, the first day of the month, right? And the cloud. After they did all that, the cloud came. The Most High was there.
Yeah.
When we set the order right, then the Most High is with us. Come. He said, well, 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst. Right? Read on.
Verse 35. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Most High filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up.
Right. So they have to watch out for the cloud. They just couldn't just be jumping there. The mercy, you know, the Most High is coming down. Somebody just running the tabernacle. It don't work like that.
Yeah.
You know. So you know, and also Aaron, he was the high priest. So he was only allowed into the tabernacle maybe once out of the year. Just the holiest of holy.
Yeah.
The holiest of holy. So you know, it's very important. Right, he had to prepare himself before he went in there. He didn't just walk in there, you know, with a little coat on or something. He had to go through all those priestly garments that we read. He had to put all those priestly garments on, the washing, everything, his hands and feet and everything, just to prepare himself to go through the holiest of holy. To make sure that he was sanctified, set apart, pure. Right? Read.
Verse 38. For the cloud of the Most High was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night.
Right, so he was able to see it, right, during the day and night. Read.
And the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys.
Right, and we just completed Exodus.
Hallelujah.
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 Get the Most High hand. Right, I mean, when you read all these verses, especially when it goes into the tabernacle, it's very particular to the Most High. You know, he goes into how he likes it. You know what I'm saying? And right now, currently, we're not living in that time where we're able to have the tabernacle and set it up with the gold. First of all, we ain't got the gold, nor the brass. You know what I mean? We may get some linen, but who knows if it's fine linen? Because we under our oppressor, and you know, of course, he lies. He's an evil cheater. Con? Right. So, we're gonna set up the prayer, or
Let me take the break.
okay. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna take the break first, right? Please don't disappear, because we still have a lot of work, you know, to talk over. The new moon is next week, Saturday at sundown, so we need to prepare for that. The Passover is only a couple of weeks away, so we need to start, you know, preparing for that. Con? All right, everybody can take the break. Hallelujah.
Review the book of Exodus, is when the minister returns. He's going to be, I think next week he's going to give a test on the book of Exodus.
Okay.
So make sure you look over it this week and, you know, refresh your memory about the book of Exodus. I think he's going to give a test on his return.
Okay.
So half an hour break, 30 minutes, and we'll come back.
Good action. No, stop that.